Hello, for gaming community and Beyblade community as a whole. I'm here today to go over becoming an organizer for the WBO. I've made a video like this in the past as far as hosting tournaments, I think, and just doing Beyblade in general. But this is really just to help you organize as far as the WBO. It's going to be a short video where I'll just be overgoing some rules. I'm doing it off my phone. Hopefully I can navigate through this and help you. It won't be too long, I hope. So this is the main page for the WBO, all right? And you see the links down here towards the bottom. You have latest posts, tournaments, rankings, shop, and then more. So what I recommend first is going to clicking on the tournaments link, all right? And then right there where it's highlighted, become an organizer. Now, before we read and go through all of this, because I have talked about hosting local tournaments, which I still do encourage, that can be done outside of the WBO. It's good to get some practice in, but you don't have to as far as like organizing and hosting an event. The benefit for doing it with the WBO is it helps you with, it'll help you with, I guess, promotions for your event. Like, you can do it on Instagram, Facebook, post flyers, but this is another avenue and a big avenue that people could just do a Google search and see that there's a tournament in your area and may come. And also keep in mind, any tournament, when you start off, you may only start off with like 4 to 8 people show up. Do not be discouraged, trust me, because word spreads. A lot of people, sometimes they're skeptical or they don't know about going to their first tournament. Once they go, those couple of people that join, even if no one shows up, you're still in the Google searches. So continue to be consistent and people will come. And, being a part of the WBO, you get to see the ranking structure and system, be a part of the Beyblade community, which the WBO is worldwide, but it's heavy in North America. I think the heaviest in North America. And being a part of this Beyblade community is pretty sweet. So right here, it goes over what an organizer is. I'm not going to read through that. Why host with us, the reason, 1,100 plus tournaments. It's where I would say the most competitive focused Beybladers are at. The responsibilities for it. And shout out to my man Shin Dog, who helped, because before we used to have to take, it was a pretty extensive quiz. And possibly would have been a bit discouraging, but the quiz now is a lot simpler, a lot easier, a lot shorter. And then you have a phone interview, which is legit also, to make sure that you're not some bot or some weirdo. I'll just go ahead and say it, just to show that you're a real person wanting to host events, because we don't want to have members from the community going out and going to some weird place. All right, so getting started, it guides you through step 1, step 2, step 3. Step 4, rules and resources. And then once you're ready, after you read the rules and resources, I highly recommend doing that. Then go ahead and take the quiz. Honestly, you shouldn't take the quiz until you're done, went through the rules and resources. I'm gonna click on this, but it may just take me to, okay, yeah. It just takes me to the organizer's guide because that's just in my cookies. For my memory, so that's where it takes me into instead of everything. But still, you're gonna want to read through this, and I know it's pretty extensive, but it's not as bad as it seems. It's actually a really great guide as far as hosting your events, how many people, recommendations for the types of like how many stadiums you should have, how big your venue should be. Getting judges and things like that. But a lot of this stuff is way more than what you may need, especially starting off. But it's just a good guide, because once you start off, you got 8 people showing up. You could just judge all that yourself. That's just simple round robin. And also, if you do have any specific questions or you need help, if you're worried like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know if I can do it alone, you'll never be alone. If you're young, you'll have your parents with you. If you're a little bit older, hopefully the people that show up, like, you'll have friends and things like that with you. And more importantly, you have the entirety of the WBO. You can message anyone that you have become friends with. If I'm able, you can message me. I've hosted quite a few tournaments, and on top of that, I have quite a few friends in the community that are Potter staff, have hosted several big tournaments themselves, and I have no problem getting back to you as soon as I'm able to help you make sure things run smoothly. So if you have questions and rules, like some people worry about that. I've hosted I don't know how many tournaments. I still have questions sometimes because things arise, you know, and there's cases of that, and I have to reach out. So don't feel guilty or bad for any of that. All right. So I'm gonna go back. Yeah, like I said, this is just my Google Drive. So we're gonna go back in here, and the way that I can get to all the rules and resources is by clicking on this link. All right. So this takes me to everything that you want to see as far as the WBO goes. You want to host Burst Classic, look through those rules. This is standard burst format right here. You have limited, the judge's guide, information for metal fight, plastic, HMS. There's a couple of other things that you need to do. This video may be a little bit longer. Just an overview of what an organizer does. So when I go to my event, I try to arrive like an hour earlier than the event is supposed to start. And that's mainly to get in registration, to see everyone that is going to show up. Sorry, my kids, if you hear them in the background also. We just finished Dark Continent. I'm tired, but I wanted to put this out. I'm just doing this in my living room. But anyways, I show up about an hour early, and I post that up. So anyone that could come, they come in, they have enough time. It's good to also, like if your tournament starting at 12, it's good to stay that it's starting at 11. And you're having, but whatever time that you put the tournament is going to start, be there earlier than that. And the reason why I say that, if your tournament starts at 12, sometimes people want to show up at 12 o'clock. And tournaments can sometimes run long depending on the amount of people that you have. At 12 o'clock when the tournament's supposed to start, or if it has started, if you're doing Swiss format or a bigger format, people won't be able to join. And I'm gonna go over the formats also. Yep, I'll go ahead and say it. This video is gonna be a little bit longer. So if your tournament started at 12, say that it's starting at 11 or 11:30, and definitely show up an hour before that and say that the on-site registration is starting at 10 o'clock or 10:30. That way people can show up ahead of time, and you can get them registered, get the challenge bracket set up, which I do have a video for a challenge. I'll put it in the description below to help you walk and go through that. You have, but start it early or get there early. Once the tournament starts and begins, if it's round robin and people show up late, it's no big deal. You can add them. I don't know if that's taboo or something that's outside of the rules, but typically with round robin, you can add them as long as things are even. If it's not even, then you can't. And just to give a breakdown on that, if you have between 8 to, I think, 11 participants, it's single round robin, which is everyone will play each other. And then the best four, or the 4 players with the best records, will go to finals. If you have 12 to 16, I believe it is, players, you'll have block round robin or group round robin, which you'll divide the players up into 2 groups evenly. The highest ranked player will go and run one group. The second ranked player will go into the next group. And then the third ranked player will go into that first group with the top rank. And then the fourth will go into the second group with the second top rank. And it'll just go back and forth like that. Like pretty much if you have 12 players, it'll be 6 in each group. And ranking of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way through 12. All the odd numbers will go in one group. All the even numbers will go in the next. That way you keep it balanced. As far as Swiss goes, that is 17 players or more. Double check me as far as in the organizer's guide to make sure I got those numbers right. But it's 17 players or more, 17 up to 64. So with Swiss is very helpful. It can be lengthy. But that's pretty much, once you have 17 to, I think, 30 to 31 players, it's going to be 5 rounds of Swiss. So you will rank every player, put them in a challenge, and challenge just does this thing as far as matches and things like that go. But once Swiss starts, you cannot add anyone else. And what I was saying, it's possible to do it with round robin. Let's say like 6 people show up to your first tournament at 12 o'clock. And then at 12:30, you haven't finished your tournament yet. A 7th person shows up. That's fine. That 7th person, you're still within the block of round robin. I mean, just single round robin. They can just battle everyone else, as long as you have the time and you're willing to do it. If not, it's completely understandable. It's your tournament. If you want to turn them away because you're running low on time or you just can't manage it, that's perfectly fine. You can do the same thing with groups as long as you don't go over that 16 participant cap. Because with round robin, it's not over until it's over. There's no dedicated matches. All right. So the judges guide, as far as getting judges, you're really going to have to rely on your community to be able to do something like that. With smaller tournaments, you can do it yourself. You can ask your parents, but you want to make sure you're on the same page. And like I said, you can reach out to me, reach out to staff, reach out to other organizers or someone that you know, or hop in the Discord. I wouldn't put it in the main chat because everyone might just try to jump on you at the same time. Maybe reach out to somebody you trust. Shindog is a great resource. I feel like he's always on Discord. He's always willing to help. My good friend Frost, he's always willing to help. I know he's busy with life at the moment, but he's always willing to help. All the staff is always willing to help. But yeah, this is pretty much what you want to look through. Once my tournament starts, usually about 10 to 15 minutes before, I go ahead and do the announcements. So I'll introduce myself, let them know what the Beyblade community is about. I give an introduction of our store, which if you don't have a store, you don't have to do that. But I do go over the announcements, welcome everyone, definitely thank the parents who came out to bring their kids. They need that appreciation because it's not easy. They have life too, and they're doing their kids a favor and the community a favor. Then the last thing I do is go over the rules. I make sure I always do that last, because if you do it first, that's where usually all the questions come from. If you do it first, you probably won't have any time to talk about anything else. Or once you do it, it may have went in one ear and out the other. So I do it last, right before the tournament starts, to be like, hey, this is what we're doing. This is how you play. Let's go. And then surely questions will arise at your event. As they happen, handle them accordingly. And you'll do well and you'll do fine. My big thing is stay cool, just like my name is on the WBO. So if you run into any issues with any participants, which, it happens sometimes, it's competition, try to keep a level head. If they start acting too wild or too erratic, they'll just get reported. Do not let it mess up your day. Do not let it mess up your tournament, because you have other people to cater to, and you can't have one bad apple spoiling the bunch. So don't let them kill your vibe. And then you'll do well. As far as finals go, you'll look through the organizer's guide in order to handle that, and you'll create another bracket and just run it through. Definitely check out the challenge video that I have as far as setting up your tournament and everything like that. This is just a brief overview of what you have to do to become a WBO organizer. The test is not super hard, especially if you look through the resources and the rules and the guides for everything like that. You'll get to the answers. The interview isn't a big deal either. You're literally just talking to one of the staff about Beyblade. So it's pretty good on that aspect. And plus, if I were you, once you get that interview, get that person's Discord. I'm sure they're going to tell you, hey, if you run into any issues, you can reach out to me. Let them know when you're having your first tournament and try to get them to be on standby if they can. Or reach out to anyone ahead of time and be like, hey, stay cool. Shindog, Frost, KG Rules, whoever, I'm about to have a tournament on this day at this time. If I'm running into any issues, can I rely on you? And more than likely, They'll be like, yes. All right. So thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. And take care.